Welcome to Kathy'sRight.com, your pit stop for the conservative mind, heart, and soul. I'm Kathy. Just when you thought the left couldn't possibly get more demented and depraved, they do. And by that I mean Cuomo, Governor Andrew Cuomo. They finally decided to do something serious about that. Now, let's be honest. We all knew that Andrew was up to no good back in the day. Let's see, it was 2019 that he was signing a bill so that they could have abortion in the state of New York up and until the birth date of a baby. The birth date of a human being, infanticide. So when that wasn't good enough, and he gleefully smiled as he signed those papers, and there were people standing behind him cheering him on at the demise of small children. We didn't even get to cry about that. We didn't even have time to cry between then and the 12 to 15,000 senior citizens that died in those senior centers in the state of New York, because he insisted that they receive COVID positive patients because of the onslaught of the COVID plandemic, if you ask me. He forced those senior citizen centers to take in COVID positive people into the hospital alongside with our most vulnerable, the elderly. And 12,000, first he lied, remind you. First they said 3,000, only 3,000 died, as if that wasn't bad enough. But no, he went for it. He covered up the fact that it was over 12,000. My God, you have to be some kind of psycho, some kind of psychopathic mass murderer. That's pretty much what he is. So, is it a surprise to anybody? Is there a leap of the imagination to think that a little sexual harassment is beyond this human being? This dude? This governor of the state of New York? Of course not. And of course he did it. Because he didn't even cry a tear over those senior citizens who died and those children who have died and will in the future die because of him signing that bill. He's a nightmare. He is a nightmare, but he's not the only one. Whenever something like this happens, he's going to have to pay. Civilly, for sure. Criminally, not sure. I don't think many Democrats actually go to jail. That's pretty much reserved for conservatives or anybody who supported Trump. The district attorney there in New York, Letitia James, very eloquently proposed her investigation and spoke about it very eloquently. I'm sorry. I don't trust Democrats at this point. I really don't. I think that if he's going down for something, and I don't mean down like Republicans go down, jail and everything, but he's going down, let's say, his reputation. But when they're doing that, I guarantee you, 100% of the time, it's a diversion. It's a diversion. That means something else is going on. Something else, because they knew about Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, back when the pandemic started, probably way before that. He didn't wake up one day and become a narcissist. He's always probably been a narcissist. He probably comes from a narcissistic family. Think about it. His father was the governor. His brother, Chris Cuomo, the guy who works out, the one who stayed in his dungeon, so to speak, during the whole pandemic, even though he was caught red-handed, berailing some guy on a bicycle. They get away with everything. I think we're all kind of tired of that. They get away with everything. So what are they distracting us from? Could it be the border? Could it be Hunter Biden? Is he up to no good again? Because, the vicious 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week cycle of news. There's no such thing anymore because we all know the news is contrived, manipulated, made up at some points. You might have a morsel of truth in that whole wellspring of lies and manipulation. And what are we being manipulated for now? I mean, they really want us to take the jab. They want everybody to get the jab. And now in New York City, Bill de Blasio is trying to mandate every restaurant, or if you want to go work out in one of those gyms, you now have to show proof that you have had your COVID shot. So they are doing the card thing, the ID card, a medical ID card, in order for you to receive services in the city of New York. I guess they're trying it out to see how it's going to work. Basically, it's going to kill the little guy's business because they won't be able to withstand it. They're turning people who are restaurant owners into police, basically, so that they'll narc on their own customers, reject paying customers who would have come into their business otherwise. It's a ruse. They want to see how much they can get away with. And with the Democrats, you give them an inch, they will take a mile every single time. Mark my words. So what are they distracting us from? What else is going on? Well, we do know the price of food has skyrocketed. I do believe there is a sincere attack on the middle class, and everything around me verifies that. What are they distracting us from? The border? That's a nightmare. Try turning to CNN if you really are in the mood for torture, but try turning to CNN and see what they have to say about the border. Almost nothing. Enough people will be in this country by the end of the year that would quantify statehood as far as the number of people. The entire state of Nebraska, let's say. So add another state, so to speak, in numbers. And they're sending these immigrants, illegals, into red states in the middle of the night. They are flying them there, busing them, sometimes in cabs. I was told that by the secretary at Catholic Charities herself. Sometimes cabs pick them up. Who's paying for these cabs? Well, the cartel, for sure. But there's a lot going on than meets the eye. And I think we ought to be straight with each other and talk about it, because it's a slavery. This is slavery. These are indentured servers. These are indentured servers. Children coming over are probably, many of them, being trafficked, sold into sex slavery. It's uncomfortable. It's wicked. Nobody wants to talk about it, but I'm talking about it because it's disgusting, and it's all done on purpose. You see, Joe Biden is on the supply side of human trafficking. And according to the laptop from hell, Hunter Biden's laptop, his son Hunter Biden is on the demand side of trafficking. What I saw on that laptop, from that laptop, I've seen most of it. It is disgusting. I didn't even know people thought like that. Who thinks like that? You have to be a degenerate to think like that. It's embarrassing. We should be embarrassed. I mean, I'm not embarrassed as much. Well, I don't think Democrats are embarrassed. I don't think they have a sense of shame anymore. You know, there was a time, for instance, once upon a time when Nixon got caught spying on a campaign. He, in his fiduciary responsibility as a Republican, bowed out, resigned because of honor. Now there is a lost word, honor. When was the last time a Democrat bowed out because of honor? Or character? Or, dare I say it, conscience? I don't know. They have to force each other out, and it's always strategic when they do. Everything they do has an alternative purpose, or a dual purpose, or maybe even a triple purpose. We are living in some chaotic times. A lot of people want to say this is the signs of the end of the world. I don't believe that at all. I think that the world has gone through some bad times. I think we're about to go through some bad times. And I think that those of us, who love God and have faith in our life, I think we will get through this like our forefathers did. You know, the survival of the fittest is the real thing. And believe it or not, we are the fittest. Our bloodlines did survive. Our bloodlines survived polio. Our bloodlines survived World War I, II. Our bloodlines survived plagues before. All of us, collectively, we are the fittest. It's enough to make you sad when you look at some of the pathetic people, like the people that are kneeling at the Olympics. I'm thinking, this is one of the fittest? Jeez Louise. These people kneeling with their wokeness. How stupid. I'm sorry, I can't come up with a better word. I'm usually a wordsmith. But how stupid. You're kneeling to what? Say you are against, let me go with racism? Because that's been like your theme this whole last 2 years. I don't know. I don't see all the black people kneeling. I see a lot of white people. I see black people with purple and pink hair kneeling. I personally think they are looking for attention. Whatever kind of attention that they can possibly get to get them on the news. Their 15 minutes of fame, like Andy Warhol said, 15 minutes of fame. So I guess they got it. I hope they liked it, because I, for one, will remember. The ones that I remember, I'm sure their hair color will change by the time they grow up. It may take them 80 years, but hey, the Olympics, Simone Biles bowed out. God bless her. She didn't have her head in it, and she knew it. She's only won 19 medals, probably more, but 19? Don't you think she's done her part? And people gave her flack for it. She's represented this country well. You didn't see her kneeling. She's represented her country. She's a Christian young lady who was molested by Larry Nassar. Now, let me guess. How much you want to bet Larry Nassar's a Democrat? I'd lay money on that. How much do you want to bet? You see, at this point right now, I'm not a fatalist, but I just don't trust them anymore. Anybody who's okay with killing children and old people, I'm not okay with. How do you trust them with the little things when you can't trust them with the big things like life and death? Andrew Cuomo, you can't be trusted with the little things anymore because you have bamboozled so many people to get to the top. And once you got there, you're responsible for death and dying. And babies and old people are worthless to you? Andrew Cuomo? I doubt he'll ever hear this. So I'm talking in the wind here. But I am disgusted by the Democratic Party, and I really feel strongly that our best shot is to vote Republican. Not because the Republican Party is right about everything, but because it's our only shot of getting rid of the evil that is the Democratic Party. We cannot be divided, because if we divide, we will fall. This country will fall. And much like the Republican Party saved this country from slavery, it's going to have to come back and save this country once again. So I have a prescription for my party. Get rid of the dead weight. People like Mitch McConnell, Mitt Romney, definitely Liz Cheney. She may as well sign up as a Democrat at this point. The list goes on. There's so many that we need to unload. And we need to fill those spaces with good, new, stronger, America First Americans. Sturdy people we can count on. People who want to preserve the American way of life and its people and its sovereignty. People with spines. That's what we can do. That's how we will save this country. And save this country we will. I'm so happy to see that Allen West is running for governor of the state of Texas, my state. I'm proud to see that because he is a true conservative. I'll be going to see him speak in September. Now, I've been a big fan of Abbott, of Governor Abbott of Texas. I think that he's done a pretty good job. I think he could have done better. Absolutely, especially with our border. His hands were tied by legalities for the most part. There's a lot of things that he, as a governor of the state of Texas, cannot do. There are things that the state can do and the government can do that they can't commingle. But it's okay, obviously, with the federal government to commingle with the cartel down at the border. They just can't commingle with the state government. They can commingle, they can work together with the beast that's bringing little children over for sale, but they can't cooperate and coordinate with our state government to protect our borders and thereby protecting the United States of America. I think Allen West could beat Abbott in a race for governor. I think he could beat him. At the very least, he will definitely put a wind in his sail and make Governor Abbott do the right thing by the state of Texas and thereby the United States of America. Competition is healthy. We need it. Do something. We need to do something drastic. This is our country. You know Joe Biden and his crew, who's the puppet string holders, they could, if they wanted, to shut that border down today. They could shut it down this moment if they wanted to. But I think this is a part of the plan of the globalist and the redistribution of wealth, the changing of the demographics of this country. They want power and they don't care who gets hurt along the way. But I do. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Pray, people. Pray. Pray hard. I apologize if I sound a little negative today. I'll try to be more positive later. But as for today, we need to pray hard. We need to pray, especially for all the fake Catholics that I see. The Cinos or Chinos, Catholics in name only. The Joe Bidens of the world. The Chris and Andrew Cuomos of the world. Pray for them. I'm not telling you what you should pray for them. I can tell you honestly, I'm not praying for them to get a new car. I'm praying for them. Basically, I can't tell you because if I did, I'd have to go to confession if I told you. I have to be responsible at some point. But we've got a country to save. And we cannot afford fake Christians to be in office. We cannot afford it. This country cannot afford it. We can't afford it physically. We can't afford it mentally. We can't afford it financially. We can't afford the nonsense that the Democrat Party is putting this country through. The price of gasoline is through the roof. Everybody's getting hurt. The children are being hurt the most. Our children, the children coming illegally across the border are being hurt. Businesses are being hurt. We're all being hurt by the Democrat Party. We're not going to play victim. We're going to fight back. But we're not going to use those same damn machines that we voted on in 2020. They better fix this. They'd better fix this. Mask again. That's the big battle thing. They're going to talk about mask until we're blue in the face. We're all sick of the mask. I don't care if someone wears the mask. At this point in my life, I really feel that we already probably have some herd immunity that they promised we would have. Remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve? Whatever happened to that curve? I haven't seen that curve on the television lately. I'd like to see the curve now. They still have treatment, you realize, for the COVID. You can still get hydroxychloroquine if you have a smart doctor. You can still get treatment. It's not a death sentence. Remember the fear of AIDS back in the 80s? And it was a death sentence? And everybody was scared of gay people because of the AIDS? And then they got a lot of kinds of cocktails that the people who catch AIDS can take. And they can live a moderately normal life. Well, Not excusing their behavior, but I'm saying that's pretty much what's going on here with the COVID. People are not dying in droves from the COVID. No more so than people are dying of the flu, the regular flu. So the fear tactics that they're using on us are meant to control us. They have a plan. They're implementing their plan. Andrew Cuomo is a part of that plan. And it's just his time for them to get rid of him. They're saying that the AG, the Attorney General there, who spoke so eloquently about the misdeeds of Andrew Cuomo, her name was Letitia James. She's making a name for herself. They're saying that she's angling for the position of governorship, the governorship of New York State. Wow. Boy, the Democrats play dirty even against each other. They don't put each other in jail like they put us in jail, but they play dirty, and they play for keeps. The devil is using the Democratic Party to do his bidding. He's causing people to lose faith by hurting the children. He's causing people to lose a sense of family, enticing America into Marxism. You remember Black Lives Matter, the leader lady, she said that she was a trained Marxist. And on the BLM website, they admit, as a part of their mission statement, that one of their goals is to eliminate the nuclear family, to get rid of it, for us not to value it anymore. You know, nuclear, father, mother, child. You think fatherlessness is a problem now in the black community? The Marxist leader of the Black Lives Movement is saying, hold my beer. Fatherlessness, we don't even want fathers anymore. Now you got these black women proclaiming that this is supposed to be the norm for our children? I don't think so, lady. And I use that term loosely, lady. Just when, oh when, are the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa people gonna go to jail? When, oh when, will that happen? We saw cities burned to the ground, businesses burned to the ground, our police officers disrespected. Who pays for that? I don't want to pay for that. But now, our illustrious government, Biden, wants to bail them out in this infrastructure bill. Bail out these blue cities and states after they allowed the destruction of their own hometowns. And we're supposed to bail them out? Do you see why we have to get rid of the Democratic Party altogether? Let's break them up. Let's us not break up. Let's break them up into factions. We must be as clever as serpents and as gentle as a dove so they won't see us coming. That's what we've got to do. So do you still love America? I do. Do you still love the United States of America? Do you think Joe Biden loves America? I think he loves America. I think it's the people he can't stand. I think the Democrats love America. They just don't like us. That's kind of the only way I could see it. They don't like the individual, the human beings, the babies, the old people, and everybody in between. They love the ideology. They love environmentalism. That's their new religion. Globalism, environmentalism. They gave up Christianity for stuff. The globe. This globe is passing away. There has always been climate change. There will always and forever be climate change. It's just that some people found a way to make a lot of money off of the fear tactics used, explaining climate change. When I was a young girl, when I was in elementary school, we were told that there was global freezing, that everything was going to freeze over. Hollywood even made movies about it. They really believed that. Al Gore was in on that. Remember how rich he got? So now the science has changed its mind. It's global warming. And if you don't buy into it, you're a heretic. Your apostasy. It's crap. It's all crap. It's just another way to manipulate us. Or else Obama wouldn't have that big ass house on the beach that's supposed to be underground in 10 years according to AOC. Well, I've heard about the big party he was going to throw for his birthday, and there's going to be something like, I think, 500 people or more, and 200 servants. Wow. And then today, on the liberal media, the local one that I have here from Austin, it said that he's decided to tone down his party because of COVID concerns. Good for you, Obama. You're not fooling anybody. You really aren't. Y'all can call us all the names you want. You can call us conspiracy theorists. You can call us all the names you want. But you can't call us hypocrites, because that would be the Democrats. This is Kathy. We're going to keep this country. We're going to keep it going. This is not the end of the world. I think it was people probably thought it was the end of the world during the First World War, during the Second World War, during Hitler days. Can you imagine seeing all those people die? Hearing about it. New York Times, by the way, kind of covered it up. The death tolls of the Jews. New York Times, supposedly respectable newspaper. But they thought at that point, this has got to be the end of the world. I think there's a couple of religions, I'm not sure, it might have been Jehovah's Witness, I'm not sure, but there's a couple of religions that they've predicted the end of the world like 4 or 5 times. Of course, it never happened. But, there is a reason to be concerned, but the Bible says, fear not, 365 times in the Bible. In some form or fashion, it says God is telling us to fear not. We cannot operate from a place of fear. That's why they keep us fearful. So we're on edge and we cannot plan and we cannot act and execute change for the better in this country. We will not be able to execute our mission to save this country if we're constantly in a state of fear and panic. And that's how they want to keep us. They want to keep us divided and they want to keep us fearful. And we're going to show them, aren't we? We're not going to give in to what they're saying, their divisiveness. They're trying to undo everything that Dr. Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement accomplished. Content of character being the basis for how we treat one another. They're trying to undo that. They want us to think only about race, preemptively about race. Before we even get to know someone, we're supposed to be concerned about their race. As long as they got us thinking that way, they win. But we can't let them win. Critical race theory is just that. Keeping us constantly thinking about race so that we stay divided. Divided, we fall. I'm not going to do it anymore. Well, I don't think I've been doing it. But we can't allow them to win. We can't think what they tell us to think. We are individuals. They are also trying to undo the work of the cross. What Jesus accomplished on the cross was for our freedom from sin. And now the left has got us accommodating sin. All of these new rules and new names and new pronouns are really about accommodating sin. They're trying to erase the work of the cross. We have a choice. We say no. We say no. We will not acquiesce. We will not be accommodating to sin. We will not accept sin as the norm. We will not be divided by hate. We will be together in love. And that is why the Democratic Party hates us. Because we love. God bless you. This is Kathy of kathysright.com. Fear not. 365. God bless you. God bless America. Bye.